Hello and welcome to today's lesson. We're covering Appendix 6, Day 3, and our learning target for today is I will be able to write an equation of a line perpendicular to another line through a given point. So please make sure you have a pencil and paper ready because I'm going to ask you to send in the notes that you take on this. And I will make sure that I let you know, hey, take out a sheet of paper, write this down. All right, we're going to review here first everything that we have done so far. So what we did yesterday is a review of parallel lines. So parallel lines have the blank slope. Have what? What do we know about slopes of parallel lines? They have the same slope. So if lines are parallel, their slopes are going to be the same. So write an equation of a line parallel to y equals 5x plus 2. Okay, so we have this equation. Now, what is the slope of this line? Is the slope 5 or is it 2? And the slope is 5. So we want to write an equation of a line that's parallel to that one through this point. So what we're going to start is putting something in point slope form. So we're going to write y, and the y value here is a minus 3. So plus 3 equals our slope. Remember, slopes are the same, and this slope right here is 5. So I'm going to write 5. And then we have x, and our x value right here is a 7. So I write minus 7. Now, we want this to be in a slope-intercept form. Okay, right now we have it in point-slope form. So what we're going to do next is we are going to distribute. So to distribute, we get y plus 3 equals 5 times x is 5x, and 5 times negative 7 is a negative 35. Okay, now the next thing we always do is either add or subtract. So here, because this is a plus 3, we're going to put a minus 3. And make sure we put under its like term, not 5x. That has an x after it, so I'm going to put it under here. So now we have y equals 5x, and negative 35 minus 3 is a negative 38. All right, so the y-intercept of our new equation, the one that's parallel to this, it's parallel, the y-intercept would be a negative 38. All right, find the x and y intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, we put a 0 in here. So this is gone. So we're left with negative 6x equals 24. Divide both sides by negative 6. So the x-intercept is a negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and put a dot here at negative 4. Now we have to go back and do the same kind of thing. I'm going to erase that so I can start over. And we have to do the same thing when we're looking for the y-intercept. This x value is 0. So negative 6 times 0 makes this go away. And we're left with 3y equals 24. So now we're going to divide by 3. So our y-intercept is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now we have 2 points, and we can connect them, making sure to put arrows on the end. And is the slant of this line, is the slope of this line positive or negative? Positive or negative? And because we're going up and to the right, both of those things are positive. All right, graph. All right, we're graphing. So do we have a point? Do we know how to graph a point? Yes, this is x, this is y. Remember, this is your x-axis, this is your y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, and then down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where this point is. That point is 3, negative 5. Now we're going to use slope to find another couple points on here. So we have negative 1 over 3. Remember, slope is always rise over run. Okay, I like to go up and then either left or right. So if I'm going to go up, this number right here is a negative number. So I am going to go left. So I'm going to go up 1, left 3. Up 1, left 3, up 1, left 3. And some of you are like, wait a minute, I don't like doing it that way. This -1 means that you're going to go down. Totally fine. And now because this is a positive number, you are going to go right. So let's see. From this first point that I have, down 1, right 3, down 1, right 3. Are all of these points in a nice straight line? So you have to be able to go both directions. All right, and this slant, looking at this, we go up and left. This is a negative slant. All right, I think this is our last review thing here. Write an equation of a line and point slope. So that was actually what we did in the first question too. So remember, this is x, this is y. So when we start with y, we have to put the y value. And because that's a +3, I'm going to write -3. Then remember, in this next point, or next blank here, is our slope. So they tell us our slope is 4, and then it's x. Now, look here. X is a -8, and because we see a -8, I am going to write +8. Okay, and that's all they're asking us to do, is to put this equation in point slope form. All right, on to the new lesson for today. All right, so what we're doing here is we're going to write equations of lines, and we're looking at things that are perpendicular. So if we look at this blue line that I'm drawing in right here, the slope of this blue line, you'll see I counted up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. So the slope of this blue line is 1. Now, in order to be perpendicular to that, I'm just going to pick it through that point. And if you look at this line right here, this green line, if I were to take a piece of paper, would it fit nicely in this corner right here so that this piece of paper could flow in here and that it would be at a nice right angle? So if we count the slope of this green line, it is a -1. Okay, so the slope of these two lines, our slope is 1, and our slope is -1. So this is my first sample problem. I'm going to do a couple other ones here just to see if we can figure out a pattern. Okay, so let me do this one. If I start here, it doesn't matter where I start. All right, so we get this blue line. Now, I want to do a line that is perpendicular to it. So I'm just going to go through this point right here. All right, so now if we look at these two blue lines, do they look all nice and square so I would fit a nice right angle in here? Okay, so let's see. What's the slope of the first line I did? If I count from here, I went up 1 over 2. So the slope of this line is 1/2. All right, let's see the other one. When we count up, it is up 2, and now I went left 1, so it would be -1. So you see in the green ones, one's positive, one's negative. In the blue ones is one positive, one negative. Okay, let me do one more sample problem to see if we can figure this out. And let me just change my color here. All right. Anyone count and see what I'm doing for my slope? All right, so I have a red line. Okay, and what is the slope of that red line? I went up 2, right 3. All right, so let me pick this point right here. So, all right, let's connect these. Do these lines look like they are nice and perfectly parallel here? So now look what happens here. We go up 1, 2, 3 and left. So I have a -3 over 2. Do you notice that one's positive, one's negative, and you flip them upside down? See how this one's 1 over 2? Well, this is 2 over 1. This one's 2 over 3, and this one's 3 over 2. Okay, so perpendicular, they're going to be opposite signs and flipped. Okay, this is technically called the reciprocal. Okay, the reciprocal is the fancy term, reciprocal. All right, I'm going to try and get through 2 examples here. So we're going to write an equation of a line that's perpendicular. So this is exactly the same thing we did when it was parallel. So looking at this, what is this slope? This slope is -1/2. And what did we just find out? If we're going to do a perpendicular slope, what did we find out? Change the signs. One's positive, one's negative. So this one's negative. So this new one has to be positive. And then flip it. If this is 1/2, this one has to be 2/1. So this is the slope I am going to use. So now use that point, 5, 9. This is your y value. So y -9. Now put in that new slope that we found, 2, and then x -5. All right, now we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing on the other problems, and we are going to distribute. So we have y -9 is 2x, and 2 times -5 is a -10. And then we're going to add 9, add 9. So y equals 2x -1. Oops, I forgot to tell you to copy this down. So freeze it, stop it, copy this down. All right, so here's our new equation. Y equals 2x -1. Okay, keep copying this down, so if you need to stop the video and then go ahead. All right, second one. Look at here. What does it say? Perpendicular. Okay, so if it's perpendicular to this equation, what is the slope of this equation? This slope is 3. So now to do a perpendicular, remember we have to do 2 things. Opposite sign. So because this is a positive 3, we need to have a negative. Now we need to flip it. Well, how do we flip it? There's no number underneath. So can't we write it 3/1? Isn't that what we do whenever we're trying to help find slope? So now flip it. If this is 3/1, this becomes 1/3. Switch the top and the bottom. All right, now let's use this ordered pair to put it in point slope form. So y, and our y value is a -2. So I write +2. Then use this slope that we just figured out, -1/3. And we've got x, and because that's a positive 12, I am going to write a -12. All right, now we need to do the distributive property. So y +2 equals -1/3 x. Now, when we multiply these together, a negative times a negative is a positive, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. And now I'm going to subtract 2, subtract 2. So y equals -1/3 x plus 2. So this is the final equation that I would be looking for. This is the equation that is perpendicular to the first one given through the point. All right, we'll see I have about a minute left to get the last example in. These 3 problems, the last one, this one, and the next one are what I need to see in your notes that you need to send in. Okay, last one. Perpendicular. Okay, so we have this slope right here, 1/4. Perpendicular, we need to do 2 things. Opposite sign. Okay, this slope is positive, so our other one needs to be negative. So I for sure know it's going to be negative. And the second thing we need to do is flip. Now this is 1/4, so this becomes 4/1. Now -4 divided by 1 is -4. All right, now we're going to put it in point slope. So I have y -11 equals -4 times x plus 1. Stop this if you need to. So y -11 distribute. So we have -4x and a -4. And now we need to add 11, add 11. So our final equation is y equals -4x plus 7.